China is strategically surpassing the U.S. crude oil reserve. Recent studies have shown that China's crude oil reserve is growing exponentially, and it may surpass the United States' strategic crude oil reserve soon. This alarm was revealed by Bradbury, the CEO of the American Exploration and Production Council. China is achieving this by canceling sanctions placed by U.S. on countries like Iran and Venezuela. They simply buy more crude oil from these countries in low prices to increase their oil reserve, while U.S. has reduced offshore drilling and also reduced their crude oil reserve. Most economics are asking the pertinent questions, which is, how will this style sustain the U.S.? China is growing in all sectors, and at this rate, they might be taking over even faster than anyone think. Stay with us to end to find out how China is achieving this strategy. Hello and welcome back to Innovative Check YouTube channel, where we delve into the innovative and transformative projects changing our world. If you're new to the channel and enjoy learning about innovation stories around the world, you've come to the right place. Please subscribe, like, and comment to help boost our videos on YouTube. The actions of China stand out as particularly strategic and forward-looking. Bradbury, the CEO of the American Exploration and Production Council, astutely observes that China is preparing for a future rife with geopolitical and economic uncertainties. This foresight is reflected in their approach to managing their oil reserves, particularly in the context of global events and U.S. policies. Just a quick reminder to hit the like button below. YouTube has been restricting my videos a lot recently because of bots, so your like does help out this video massively in terms of the algorithm in YouTube. November 2021, a significant development occurred when President Biden announced that the U.S., along with other countries, would release millions of barrels from their oil stockpiles in an effort to stabilize global energy markets. This decision was part of a larger strategy to address fluctuating oil prices and supply concerns. Interestingly, China, a key player in the global energy market, had indicated its willingness to tap into its reserves around the same time. President Biden, in December 2021, acknowledged the collective agreement among nations to release additional oil from their reserves. This move was seen as a coordinated effort to counterbalance market disruptions. However, Kevin Book, the managing director of Clearview Energy Partners, there was no concrete evidence to suggest that China actually drew down its strategic reserves in conjunction with this global initiative in November 2021. Book speculated that China's decision was likely influenced by its own perception of national security, opting not to expose itself to further risk by depleting its strategic reserves. China's approach to managing its oil reserves became more evident around the Lunar New Year in 2022. The National Food and Strategic Reserves Administration of China indicated that sales from their reserves would occur around this time, aligning with significant geopolitical events. Notably, on February 4, 2022, just days after the Lunar New Year, a pivotal meeting took place in Beijing between Russian President Vladimir Putin and Chinese President Xi Jinping, coinciding with the Winter Olympics. This meeting occurred mere weeks before Russia's invasion of Ukraine, an event that dramatically reshaped global geopolitics and had profound implications for international energy markets. As tensions escalated with Russian troops amassing along the Ukrainian border, the U.S. White House, under President Biden, threatened sanctions against financial institutions that would assist Russia. This move was part of a broader strategy to deter Russian aggression. In this context, Dalip Singh, the White House Deputy National Security Advisor, made a significant statement. He posited that China might view Russia as a junior partner in energy deals, particularly for accessing gas or cheap oil. Singh's comment underscored the pragmatic nature of China's foreign policy, especially in its dealings with Russia. The subsequent invasion of Ukraine by Russia led to immediate and severe economic sanctions from the U.S., targeting various sectors including the oil industry. The European Union, yes, the EU, a key player in the global energy landscape, also took decisive action. By May, the EU had reached an agreement to phase out most Russian oil imports by the end of 2022. This decision was part of a broader effort to reduce reliance on Russian energy sources and to respond to the invasion of Ukraine. Amid these developments, the U.S. and its allies agreed to release millions of barrels from their oil reserves over several months. This decision aimed to mitigate the high prices and supply disruptions caused by the geopolitical turmoil. However, in a contrasting move, China was actively buying and stockpiling cheap oil, a strategy that diverged from the approaches taken by the U.S. and the EU. A significant event in this narrative was the seizure by the U.S. of nearly 1 million barrels of Iranian oil that was being smuggled to China. This incident highlighted the complexities of international oil trade and the challenges posed by sanctions. Senator Joe Manchin, a Democrat from West Virginia, emphasized the repercussions of these geopolitical dynamics, particularly how Europe and its allies were affected. He pointed out that the energy weaponization by Putin sent shockwaves through Europe, revealing vulnerabilities in energy security. The EU member states, which are mandated to maintain at least 90 days of crude oil in reserves, found themselves in a precarious situation following the drawdowns. Nearly half of the European countries fell below their 90-day target, highlighting the critical nature of strategic reserves and their importance in ensuring energy security. The situation was further complicated when it was revealed that the United States had sold some of its oil reserves to China. The Energy Department announced that Unipec America Incorporated, a wholly owned subsidiary of China International United Petroleum and Chemical Company, Limited, had purchased nearly 1 million barrels. This transaction raised questions about the global dynamics of energy trade and the strategic decisions made by major players like the U.S. and China. If you are enjoying this video so far, please don't forget to subscribe, share the video and comment. Kevin Book's analysis sheds light on China's approach to these developments. He remarked that China, being the biggest oil importing country in the world, is always looking for opportunities to save on costs. This pragmatism is evident in their willingness to purchase oil at lower prices, especially from countries facing U.S. sanctions. China's strategy involves importing cheap oil from countries like Russia and Iran, which are under U.S. sanctions. In the first half of 2023, imports from Russia to China increased by nearly 23, amounting to more than 2 million barrels per day. Furthermore, China has become Iran's top customer, buying an estimated 1 million barrels per day in 2023. This strategy of importing oil from sanctioned countries is not straightforward, as Iranian oil is often relabeled as originating from other countries like Malaysia, the UAE, or Oman to circumvent sanctions. Despite these complexities, the experts in the oil market assert that China's oil strategy has had limited impact on the overall market. According to Kevin Book, the global oil price essentially reflects the global supply and demand balance. If China did not purchase oil from Russia, Venezuela, and Iran, it is likely that other buyers would emerge. The interplay of global politics, energy security, and economic strategies paints a complex picture of the current state of international relations and trade. The decisions made by countries like China, the U.S., and members of the EU not only reflect their immediate economic interests, but also their long-term strategic visions in a rapidly changing world. This dynamic interplay continues to shape the global energy landscape, with far-reaching implications for international politics and economics. China's strategic accumulation of oil reserves, particularly from countries under U.S. sanctions like Russia and Iran, speaks volumes about its long-term geopolitical strategy. This approach is not just about securing energy resources, it's also a calculated move in the complex game of international politics. By aligning with countries that are somewhat isolated by Western sanctions, China positions itself as a key player that can operate independently of Western-led economic systems. This strategy has significant implications for global energy markets. By stockpiling massive amounts of cheap oil, China is able to exert a certain level of influence over global oil prices. Moreover, its willingness to engage with sanctioned countries like Russia and Iran can be seen as a challenge to the efficacy of U.S. sanctions as a foreign policy tool. In essence, China's actions demonstrate a form of economic resilience and strategic defiance against the dominance of Western economic policies. If you are enjoying this video so far, please don't forget to subscribe, share the video and comment. The U.S. response to these developments has been multifaceted. On one hand, the U.S. has continued to impose and uphold sanctions against countries like Iran and Russia as part of its broader foreign policy objectives. On the other hand, the decision to release oil from its strategic reserves and even sell some of these reserves to China indicates a complex balancing act. This act is not just about managing domestic oil prices, but also about maintaining a stable global oil market. The sale of U.S. oil reserves to China could be seen as a pragmatic acknowledgement of the interconnected nature of global energy markets. However, it also raises questions about the long-term strategy of the U.S. in terms of energy diplomacy and its role in the global energy landscape. The U.S. has to navigate a challenging path where it must maintain its influence in global energy politics while also addressing domestic energy needs and market stability. The European Union's situation is particularly challenging. the EU's decision to gradually phase out most Russian oil imports by the end of 2022 was a significant move, reflecting its stance against Russia's actions in Ukraine. However, this decision has also exposed the EU to vulnerabilities in terms of energy security. The reliance on Russian oil and gas has been a contentious issue for the EU for many years, and the current crisis has only exacerbated the urgency to find alternative sources of energy. The drawdowns from strategic reserves by European countries, leading many to fall below the 90-day target, underscore the precarious situation the EU faces. This scenario has forced the EU to expedite its search for alternative energy sources and to reconsider its overall energy strategy, including investments in renewable energy and diversification of oil and gas supplies. The actions of China, the U.S., and the EU have far-reaching implications for the future of global energy markets, as China continues to build its strategic reserves, potentially affecting global supply and demand dynamics. The U.S. and the EU are compelled to rethink their energy policies and strategies. This situation is likely to lead to shifts in global energy alliances and trade patterns. The increasing focus on renewable energy sources and the transition towards greener economies will also play a crucial role in shaping future energy policies. The current geopolitical situation might accelerate this transition as countries seek to reduce their dependence on fossil fuels and enhance their energy security through diversification. The interplay of energy politics, geopolitical strategies, and economic considerations paints a complex and dynamic picture of the current global landscape. The decisions and actions of major global players like China, the U.S., and the EU in the realm of energy have profound implications not only for their own national interest, but also for the stability and future of international relations. Thank you for your attention, and I welcome your thoughts and questions on this complex and vital subject. Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If yes, please like and share the video, and subscribe to get exclusive videos about how phenomenally China is developing and growing its influence. Your subscriptions and likes motivate us to generate more content, so please keep supporting us. Check out this video showing on your screen right now, and I will see you on the other side.